Yeah, it was 2020, okay? And COVID broke out and the city was locked down and stuff. So we did online schooling for 2 or 3 months. I got used to the flexibility and just learning online and not having to go to school, commuting for long hours like that. Afterwards, when I went back to school for 1 month before like the school end, I just felt like something was off. Like I was sitting in math class. Teacher was writing down some equation on the board. And then I just look at it and then I turn back to my friend and say, "Hey, have you ever questioned why we're actually learning this? 'Cause I've never seen this sort of problem apply in real life." And then she was like, she didn't have a clue. She thought I was crazy or else I ate something wrong. I got poisoned or something. He said, "Yeah, dude, just learn it, mate. There's an exam coming up and exam like afterward to get good grades, go to good college and get a good job." And I was like, "That's it? There must be some more." She's, "I don't know." So that was my light bulb moment. I felt like there must be something more to life. So I made a brave move and just leave everything behind to homeschool.
Hello, wonderful humans. I'm Serge Hunt, and this is the City as a School Young Champions podcast. The following is a conversation with Toan Truong. Toan is currently building his Twitter brand and audience after graduating high school in just 1 year as a homeschooler. He's now set the ambitious goal for himself to graduate and get a bachelor's degree in just under 12 months for under $10,000. I hope you find this conversation as inspiring as I find Toan's story. And as always, show your love for our young champions by liking and sharing this with your friends on social media. So, before getting into how you graduated high school in 1 year, can you tell us a little bit about what you're up to right now and yeah, what you're working on?
Yeah, right now I'm working on building my personal brand on Twitter, and that is primarily what I am focusing on because like I believe that um having a community of people who believe in the mission and the vision that you're going on is much more important than having a product or just building something and just launching it out there. Yeah. So I'm building my brand for the future.
Awesome. And just before we started recording, we started talking about how you went through all of the different types of education available in Vietnam. Walk me through that. So you've been to public and private and homeschooling.
I was in public school for 1 year in first grade. And then my family felt like, no, this wasn't right. Like you waking up way too early, learning way too much, and just felt really stressful. Then I went to private school from from second grade to fifth grade. So it was an international environment. And this is where I improved my English and I learned a lot of like social skill in private school. But then my mom were like, "Hey, hey, you were talking in English at home and we can't understand you. You need to keep your Vietnamese root." So like I went to bilingual school, which is like a combination of both. And I think like after 9 years, I felt like I've experienced all the three models and I felt I need a new challenge. So that summer, I did some research and I stumbled on homeschooling. And this is what started my journey as a homeschooler.
Because we met when I read your tweet about you having this light bulb moment while you were at school, and then you decided to go homeschooling. So, yeah, walk me through that. What was happening that day where you were looking around? I think you mentioned it was after the pandemic and you came back to school.
I Yeah, it was 2020, okay? And COVID broke out and the city was locked down and stuff. So we did online schooling for 2 or 3 months. And I got used to the flexibility and just learning online and not having to go to school, commuting for long hours like that. And afterwards, when I went back to school for 1 month before like the school end, I just felt like something was off. Like I was sitting in math class. Teacher was writing down some equation on the board. And then I just look at it and then I turn back to my friend and say, "Hey, have you ever questioned why we're actually learning this? 'Cause I've never seen this sort of problem apply in real life. Like, when would you ever use this thing?" And then she was like, she didn't have a clue. She thought I was crazy or else I ate something wrong. I got poisoned or something. He said, yeah, dude, just learn it, mate. There's an exam coming up and exam like afterward to get good grades, go to good college and get a good job. And I was like, that's it. There must be some more. It's just, I don't know. So that was my light bulb moment. I felt like there must be something more to life. So I made a brave move and just leave everything behind to homeschool.
So that's amazing. That's the kind of story which, yeah, inspires me to build the things that I'm building. And I'm sure many other educators and founders are out there hearing similar kind of things. And I'm just curious, like, what did you do straight after that moment? Did you throw the share to the side and go, I'm done with this, going home? Or yeah, what was your next steps after had you already known about homeschooling, or did you go home to research homeschooling?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting because like my sister she's in a different school and she is learning the program that I use for my high school. So the program's called Acelis, and most of the students in Vietnam, they only use it as a supplementary to their normal learning. But like my mom, she went to a conference with the principal of that school, and the principal was talking about homeschooling and how the program was like structure, and there's how you can just do it online and you don't need to go to class and anything like that. So she told me about the program. I did more research about it and I felt like it was just the right next step for me.
Awesome. That's so cool that your principal was talking about it. What a lucky stroke of, yeah, way to find
Yeah.
it. I guess that all basically meant your life was going down this different trajectory and led to you doing graduating high school in 1 year. So walk me through the strategy of that and how you planned it. I assume many of your peers, your friends are still at school. Is that right? And you've already graduated. How did you plan that? What was your strategy?
Yeah. Okay. So when I decided to homeschool, the pivotal point that I told my parents was that I'm going to graduate high school in 2 years. And even at that moment, I felt, oh no, this is impossible. How am I supposed to do this? Because like the program is kind of long and you must put in the work. But my plan for completing high school in 1 year has three parts. First is the plan itself. Next is the motivation. And thirdly is the hard work. So firstly, the plan. My plan when went into homeschooling was to get off the hard course done first. So in my mind, I was thinking that if I could get through all the hard course, all the course that I hate, the things that I feel like it's difficult, then the remaining part of the journey would be more relaxing and it will give me time to learn the skill that I need to learn. Next of all is the motivation, like what kept me going. Because like sometimes homeschooling could get really lonely. And what motivated me was that I made a presentation to convince my parents to let me homeschool. They are counting on me and I must not let them down because I said it in front of them and I must keep my word. So that was the driving force to keep me progressing towards the goal of graduating. And thirdly, which is hard work. And I feel like even with all the techniques and all of the motivation, if you don't work hard for that goal, then you're just not going to get it. So that's the three things that helped me graduate faster than anyone else, than my friends. Yeah.
Wow. And yeah, it's taking on the hard courses first. And that plan, that's amazing. What did you do with the sort of, you mentioned a little feeling a little bit disconnected or lonely. It's like hard to be around your peers, or you don't have as many peers now because you're not in the school environment. How did you navigate that? Did you have some good close friends around home, or did you actually actively reach out to other groups? Yeah, what were you doing there?
Yeah. That's a great question because the period of time when I was homeschooling is the same period of time when everything in Vietnam was being shut down. So technically, I don't have less friends than my friend do because they're all doing online schooling. So we're equal. But I understand your question. And I remember there were months when I was only talking to my mom, my sister, my dad, and my grandparents or something like that. It was lonely. So I went to networking site like Sharper or LinkedIn, and eventually Twitter. Yeah.
Mm.
And from there, I learned one thing is that you don't have to be physically there to make friends. Like I've realized that I now have more friends than when I was in school, which is insane to think about.
Wow. It's interesting that you're in the same boat as everyone because it was lockdown and you really seized this opportunity to just go faster than everyone. Was there any resources or mentors or like hacks that you had found to study as fast as you did? Because it's quite a feat doing all of that in 1 year. I've heard other stories about it, and I think it's something that people can do more regularly. I'm curious, are there any sort of hacks or techniques that you had found which really helped you get through that hard coursework or even the easy coursework?
Okay. So I think the biggest hack for me was to get instant feedback on anything that I'm doing. So once I do something, I want immediate feedback on it to see if I'm doing it right or wrong so that I can adjust accordingly. Second of all, having an accountability partners or like a mastermind group. So they are like a group of people who comes together to hold you accountable and help you get your work done. That's very important for me because like sometimes like you see me as the kid that graduated high school in 1 year, but I still procrastinate and sometimes I lose motivation. And these are the system that keep you going. And thirdly, the technique for learning faster is to reach out to people who have done it in the past. So like a mentor and ask them, hey, what have you done to finish this faster? What tip can I learn from you? Because like they have the experience that I don't. So I can cut through that period of time where I'm just dabbling with their experience and move forward quicker.
I love what you're saying. It's all very much about building these feedback systems around you, whether they're asking for direct feedback or being around peers who can motivate you and are on a similar kind of journey, or actually just experts who are a little bit further along. This is all so amazing. I think something that a lot of kids like miss out on in school, isn't it? They don't really get that either older support, or if they do, it's just the teacher and there's one teacher to maybe 50 kids
Yeah.
sometimes. That's fantastic. Wow. And so you've graduated high school, and the next part of a Twitter bio, which I'm going to read, is you're going to be finishing your bachelor's in 12 months. So tell me about that. We talked about it a little bit off the call. There's some different resources that you looked at, right? So how does one get their bachelor's in 12 months for less than 10K, I think was another criteria. It's going to be cheap and fast. So tell me about that.
Yeah. I'm a person who likes to set ambitious goals. Finishing a bachelor in 12 months under 10K is a goal that frightened me a little, but it motivates me a lot. So my plan to finish university and my bachelor in 12 months is first to choose the right university. So my criteria is the university must be self-paced, online and offline, accredited, and it must have allowed me to transfer a lot of my credits to the school. With that being said, I found a lot of university like WGU, ASU, SNHU, TSU, but I stick to Southern New Hampshire University because their tuition rate is cheaper compared to the other competitor. And it allowed me to transfer 90 credits towards the program. And you need 120 credits to graduate. So the question right here is, so where would you get the 90 credits for your program? Now, the normal students would go through like the first 3 years of their university to learn to get that 90 credits. But I found a different way, which is through AP course in high school, a CLEP exam, like it's like a competency based test. If you pass the test, you get a credit. Thirdly is through third party platform like Sophia Learning, Straighter Lines. And I think there's some other more like Pearson or something like that. But you finish the course and you get the credits. Yeah. And fourthly is from working experience. For me right now, I don't have any, but yeah, that is something you could use. So I primarily focus on Sophia Learning. And Sophia Learning, yes, it's basically like an upgrade to my high school experience. There was a course and then milestone, and there were some project to do in between. But then each course gives you like 1 to 3 credits and it's all ready to transfer to the university. It took me like 6 months to get my 90 credits. And if you take the yearly plan, it will only cost like $599, which is an absolute steal of a deal for the amount of credit that I got. So all I have left is 30 credits to do, and let's just do it.
That's insane. What a crazy tactic. Wow. And I'm gonna have to link to all of these resources in the show notes because I'm sure some people are gonna be like, What's Sophia learning? What's this? I could check it out." And so all of this means that you just have to get final 30 credits, and that will be a mostly online experience or an in-person experience. Yeah, what does that last 30 credits look like?
Yeah, for me, it will be mostly online because my school, SNSU, it has the online and offline program. But I'm not planning to go to the US in this year or at the moment right now. So I'm just going to do it online. And then afterwards, I can go abroad to learn from real experience and real work and maybe join a company like that. Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, let's get into that. So you're getting this bachelor's degree, and I think something we touched on before was how getting a degree was something that felt almost like people were socially pressuring you to do it. Yeah, tell me about that. Who was pressuring you to get a degree? We know that it's something culturally that people assume you should do before getting a job and working on important stuff. Yeah, who was nudging you to get the degree, and why not just not do a degree and go into something?
I feel like it's everyone around me. Like when I said I don't want to go to college, people just gave me that weird look like, oh, are you that troublesome kid again? Or are you just not capable of learning or something? And I was like, no, I just felt like there's much better way to spend your money and your time. But they don't accept it because for years, like the news and the publication have been praising college. This is the next step everyone must take, no matter who you are. And like for family in Vietnam, their like achievement in life is to get to college. Like the kids in the poor province, they're like, if you get to college, you are already a success. And then my family would be like, then why don't you go to college? Like you have the resource but you're not, but you don't want to go to college. So that is there something wrong here? So I was being constantly compared to my friends and my peer and all the kids out there. They're all going to college and I'm going to life potentially. And my mom was like, yeah, you could go to life, but who would hire you? You don't have anything, have no degree. That's, I told her that I could be a waiter or do some basic job for a few years, then progress up. But she's like, no, that's not good. You must get a degree, that you must climb that ladder like everyone else.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure, and I think it's still going to be a while before that kind of changes really in the public belief of what people should be doing after school, I guess. And
Yeah.
but you're doing it anyway, and you're going to be doing it for a fraction of the cost and a lot faster than everyone else. What are you hoping to do after that? We're both passionate about helping people learn and education. Have you managed to find any sort of ideas, niches, types of companies you'd like to start or join?
Okay. For me, I feel like in order to improve or change the education system itself, like I must improve myself first. Like right after college, I can imagine myself spending 3 to 5 years just doubling down, investing in myself, like reading more books and talking to more people so that not only I grow my knowledge inside my head, but also have a community and a network of people who are as passionate about this mission as I am. Because I believe that I can't solve the problem on my own. I need people who are on the same journey with me. And additionally, I need money, right? So the first few years will just be me working on myself, building my personal finance, getting a lot of money so that from there I can use that money to set myself financially free. And the remaining money will be totally invested into building startup and like projects to further growth the education system.
And what is it in the education system that's you're seeing as a problem? We've obviously talked about a lot of things culturally with grading and assessment and stuff, but yeah, is there anything that's standing out to you that you'd like to pick off? Because there's so many different moving parts, right? There's like the pedagogy,
Yeah.
the curriculum, the environment, the technology, or the assessment. Like, what's feeling exciting right now that you might want to work
The most exciting opportunity that I see is the rippling effect that I could make if I can prove that the college degree doesn't have the credibility like it used to do. So I use first principle thinking, which boil down idea to its fundamental truth. And I believe that we still need a college degree because we don't have enough metrics to measure a person's ability and their potential in the future. And the degree is the tool that help us like classify students. That's what we want to say. So I want my first startup to be something of a platform for recruiter to use that will provide them with information and statistic on the students and how they will perform in the future and without the need to use the college degree.
I agree in many ways that the way we assess knowledge, skills, capabilities is a huge piece in this big puzzle of education. Excited to see what you build in the future and how all these listeners can help or and reach out to you. And so we're coming to the end of our time together, and I just want to ask you two things. One, if people want to reach out to you, if they want to find out more about your story and get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Yeah. So for everyone who are tuning in right now, I just want to say thank you for making it this far into the video. And if you want to connect with me, you can follow me on Twitter. I write a lot of content about learning, memory techniques, and the future of education on there. My DM is always open. And if you have any question or anything you want to share with me, just to jump right in and just say hello. Because, yeah, I always check my DM and I get back to you as soon as possible.
Awesome. And the second question is, are there any final words you want to leave with the listeners? Any words of inspiration or, a message for them?
Yeah. So I'm actually building like a quiz that will help people identify the mistake and the area where they're not learning as effective. So quiz that help people to learn more effective. And it's in the final stage. And I think by the time that this recording goes out, it'll be done and there'll be a link down below. So if you're serious about learning and how to learn smarter but not harder, then you can take that quiz and then you can book a call with me so I can give you a personalized plan on how to learn smarter and like a roadmap for you to improve in the future.
Fantastic. Toan, it's been lovely to speak to you and hear more about your story. And hopefully we get to do this again soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Saj. Thank you for everyone for listening.
Lovely.